Hey everybody, it's Michael from getfitover40.com. I'm going to try and get through this video as quickly as possible. It's really not rocket science by any means. If you think about it, this concept really does make a lot of sense. And what is this concept? It's the idea that the better shape you get in, the faster your metabolism becomes. So people say, hey, you should start exercising and speed up your metabolism, get in better shape. Everything's just your body's just going to be, this burning machine. You're going to burn calories because you're exercising and you're so fit. And it's going to be a lot better than, if you weren't exercising. And yes, you will obviously burn a lot more calories when you exercise. That's common sense. The more you exercise, the more calories you're going to burn compared to sitting around doing nothing. So there's that. That's very true. You have to do exercise to burn calories, to potentially get in a calorie deficit, to lose weight. Of course, the eating is important. You can't overeat. You still got to eat within a certain limitation to make it all work, that's for sure. But what I want to talk about here is people sometimes think that when they get in really great shape, that their metabolism also gets really hyper fast and they speed up their metabolism. Now, there's two different ways of looking at this. The more muscle that you do put on your body, the more calories you will burn at rest. So more muscle equals burning more calories. Now, it's not a huge amount, but there is an algorithm you can figure out based on your muscle mass. So that will affect your BMR, your base metabolic rate. So the more muscle you have or lean body mass compared to your weight will give you a higher BMR. But it's not like night and day. It's not like if you've got 20 pounds extra muscle, you're going to burn 500 extra calories every day. You might burn like 50 to 70 calories having that extra 20 pounds of muscle. Now, that can add up over time, over the week, over the months, but you can also eat that back really easily just because you're hungry, because you have more muscle mass. So you got to watch it. It's kind of one of those things where it's not exactly what people say it is. So what I'm talking about here, though, isn't the muscle mass. I'm talking about when you exercise and you get in better shape and you're jogging, you're running, you're doing cardio, you're just you're moving around. Even if you're just walking a ton, your heart rate is going to drop, okay? It's just you get in better shape. So people that are in better shape, that can run long distances, that can do exercise for a long time, they have slower heartbeats. And this is associated with being in better cardiovascular condition. So what does that mean? A slower heart rate. Okay. So if you have a faster heart rate versus a slower heart rate, is a person with a slower heart rate going to have a faster metabolism? If their internal engine is running slower, are they going to have a faster metabolism versus somebody who has a higher heart rate? Say your resting heart rate is 80 versus 60. Okay, that's like over 20% difference. And that is essentially your metabolism, or it's definitely related to your metabolism, because your body, the better shape you get in, the slower your metabolism becomes, because your body becomes really efficient. It just becomes better at doing everything. You're basically telling your body that you're super active and you need to conserve energy to some degree because, you're only eating this much and you're just running around like crazy. You're doing all this activity. And so you just become efficient. It's kind of like, compared to this. Let's say you have two vehicles, right? And you might think, well, Mike, if they're both the same weight and if they're both driving the same distance, then they should both use the same amount of gas. And yeah, you'd think that makes sense. But what if one has a regular gas engine that's not really anything fancy? You put gas in, it's an 8-cylinder, or let's just say it's whatever. It doesn't matter what the cylinders are. Just a regular everyday engine, and it gets a certain mileage, right? And then you have something like an EcoBoost, which is designed to be super efficient. It's got twin turbos. It doesn't use as much gas. It's just more fuel efficient. It's actually as powerful or even more powerful than the other engine, so it's capable of the same amount of output. It just happens to be more efficient. So you can drive the same distance using less gas with the same weight vehicle. Everything's the same, okay? So just because you're going from A to B and you're the same weight doesn't mean you're going to burn the same amount of calories, okay? That's how our bodies work. The more exercise we do, the more efficient we become. Our muscles become more efficient, our bodies become more efficient, and you burn less calories. And I can attest to this because I found this out while cutting for shows, contest prep. So for instance, I would do a workout, okay, before contest prep. I'm in okay shape. I'm not out of shape, but I'm not doing tons of working out. I'm maybe working out an hour a day, going for the occasional walk with the dogs. And that hour workout, I might burn, say, 600 calories working out, okay, in an hour. As conscious prep progresses and I'm walking more and I have to work out a little bit more, I'm finding that to burn that 600 calories, it can take as long as an hour and a half to do that because my heart rate is now dropping. So instead of my average heart rate when I work out being, say, between 130 and 140, it'll drop to 110 to 120 while I'm working out. So it's going to take longer to burn calories because most of these apps, and rightly so, will look at your heart rate to figure out how many calories you're burning during a certain period of time. And that's how it understands what your output is. It's not actually looking at how hard you're pushing against objects. It's not saying, well, he's pushing this weight this many times, that's this many calories. It's looking at how efficiently your body does that, okay? That's what really matters, and that's what's going to determine how many calories you burn. So bottom line is this: the better shape you get in, the slower your metabolism will become. You become this efficiency machine, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just keep in mind, you will have to literally train harder, work out harder to burn the same amount of calories as you did when you weren't in the same shape, when you weren't in as good a shape, okay? So something that I found really interesting, and not just with working out, but even with walking. When I walk, at the beginning of before the cut, my heart rate gets up to over 120 when I'm walking fast. Near the end, I'm lucky if I can break 100 beats per minute. I'm more like in the mid 90s doing the same walk, the same speed. And again, it takes longer distances and more time to burn the same amount of calories. All right, hopefully that was interesting for everybody and you found it knowledgeable, and you can apply this to your own fitness and keep it in mind when you're working out, when you're figuring out your fitness goals. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, take care.